In 1976.
I moved to Mississauga in 1973.
I came up 1974, December 1974.
1975, 76. 1978.
I started coming to Mississauga Church in the year 1978.
We came here in 1990. As a matter of fact, I remember the date well. It's the date Mandela came out of prison. It was the 11th of February, 1990.
We initially came to the church in 1981.
Year 2000. 2017.
Okay, so initially my church was downtown Toronto, and I had recently moved to Mississauga. And I love my church, and so I used to pass by the highway and go all the way to Toronto every week. And then somebody said, "This is madness," because I was pregnant, very pregnant with my daughter. And so I thought, okay, let me come by and check out this church, which was just 5 minutes from my house. So I came, and the rest is history. Here I am. I loved it. I loved the people. I loved that it had a lot of young people in it. I had a son, well, I have a son, and he was young at the time. So there's lots of kids his age to kind of, make him feel like it's part of his experience as well. And I just met a lot of people who embraced me, and really I thought, I'm not going back downtown to travel 45 minutes, go down the Don Valley to get to church when I have a community of believers right here in Mississauga.
The congregation at the time was much smaller, but I found at the time we were very close, we were warmly welcome to the fellowship, and it wasn't long after pretty much we were involved with some form of ministry in the church. So
About a year after.
Yeah, so we were really into everything.
And some addition to the warmth was we had Brother Hartley Williams made it his duty to pick us up on Sabbath mornings. And eventually, we got into, I sang the quartet, the Shepherd's Men.
And Sister Jones, so Alistair Jones was very, very
instrumental,
taking us to church in the mornings along with Sister Stewart. They were very, very helpful because we came with one child at the time, so they were able to take us to and from church.
So I must say that when I first came here, it was a culture shock for me, coming from the West Indies and not seeing. I knew that Canada was a place, where it was multicultural, but I didn't see that much on the platform when I came here. And so over time, I noticed that there was a shift in the way people came into the Mississauga Church, and I think it was a little bit more welcoming for people. And so it became like a family to me, in the Mississauga Church. And I really love that because I was coming from a church where it was big, but everybody was close. And so I see the difference now. We were close-knit, and in those days, even though we didn't have 800 people in the sanctuary at the time, but it was a close-knit family. I could say to somebody, listen, I got to go somewhere, keep my children until I come back. And those were the kind of things, reflecting on where we've come from to where we are today, that resonates with me. I think that the bonds that we had as a church family.
It felt like a family. We've always felt like family with the Mississauga Church.
I remember we were living across the road out there, and we didn't know anything about down here. But Brother McLean, we asked him if he even knew anybody. We wanted to go to Toronto to church because we knew churches up there already. But he took us to Mississauga from the very first Sabbath we went there. We were very, very happy to be there. Brother Prescott, the one who invited us. It's been good.
I was Sunday service the church member, and after listen a sermon on YouTube from Dr. Bachelor, I realized that God's law and the time is the divine and the holy. So it's the Sabbath day, not the Sunday. So I searched in my area, Mississauga. I found some churches. I went there and visit there, and finally I decided to come to Mississauga SDA Church. Why I would like to recommend you my experience in this church. Up to now, I still feel all church members they demonstrate the love to one to another, like Jesus says. This is the kind of his disciple, and this is made me like a home under God and under Jesus is the church.
It's been amazing. From the Lakeshore days to now, the church has changed significantly. It has grown. It was such a family atmosphere back then. The Sabbath lunches were awesome. We all got together at different people's houses, and we would have Sabbath lunch, and then we would come back to church for AY. It was an amazing experience growing up in Mississauga Seventh-day Adventist Church. The church basically raised me, and I learned so many things here. I learned things that I use for my career. I've learned, how to make presentations. I've learned how to be up front. I've learned how to work with different types of people, different types of personalities. It's just an awesome way to grow up, is to grow up in Mississauga Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Well, I began to think when we were there together, what can I do to help others to join the church? I began to study God's Word and to speak to the visitors who come here, to encourage them to join the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
I came to Mississauga from a big church. It was Harvey Avenue at the time. Now it's West Toronto. So when I came to Mississauga, it was a small company, and it was situated on Dixie Road, just at an Anglican church across from Nob Hill Farms. So I had somewhere to take the children to Sabbath school. So that was really a blessing. And even just coming from a larger church, I found, it was a small group, so everyone knew everyone, and we, fellowshiped together, and it was a great experience for us at the time.
For 50 years, I had the privilege of watching the Seventh-day Adventist Church progress in Mississauga. And it has landslide, it has been now to a permanent place that the Seventh-day Adventist Church is well established in Mississauga. And I'm really happy. Praise to God.
Well, of course, when I came up from England, I used to sing when I was in England, and then when I came here, I started singing, and when I started singing, I was using cassette, and because I couldn't find somebody to play for me, so of course I used to use my cassette, and I was kind of like the first one in Ontario to start using the cassette and sing along with it, and I've been doing it ever since, and I joined quite a few groups with the singing. Also with Pathfinders, joining Pathfinders was the greatest thing with Mr. Clark, where he used to take us to a lot of trips, and also even with our friends, after when we finished Pathfinders, as we got older, we started going camping, and we camped many places. It was almost every week we were going somewhere on the weekend, and we were camping with we're so close with everyone, and up until this day, we're still close. We still commit with each other and talking with each other about the past and everything like that. And I'm still here.
Well, as a couple, we have always worked together in church ministries, from the sharing experience to watching people devote their lives for baptism, greeting exercise to watch people as they're welcome into the church, and we've always done it together as a couple. So it's made us more sensitive to people's needs and enrich us personally in a Christian experience to grow.
Well, we've always been involved in ministry. So we've been in the personal ministries division for quite a while, children's ministry. And so it enriches, it makes us feel like we are giving back to the community, to our church, and to God.
I think over the years, the numerous evangelistic outreach programs, whether it was a regional evangelistic outreach, i.e. all the West Toronto churches, Mississauga has always been playing a leadership role in that, and we were blessed to be part of not only the planning but execution, and to see the harvest of souls through those programs and the growth of Mississauga Church during that period are memories that will never fade.
Richard became an elder. He embraced the Sabbath, and I was always involved in the music department.
Well, caring for people. Right now, I've just became a leader of community service, and I'm still caring for people, outreaching for people in need, and I'm still continuing, because I didn't even realize this was my actual joy of loving people and caring for them and reaching out for people who are in need. Yeah.
It's been growing. My faith has grown a lot since I came here. But it was shaken too, because the things I see now is totally different than what I was taught or what I was brought up to be in, to know. Because it's really shaken these days. It's different, totally different than the days when I just came up here.
Well, I would say that I've noticed in myself that I have grown a lot spiritually. I can even mention the changes some of the changes that the person I was yesterday, the person I am today, I'm a totally different person, and I know that it's only because of my experience here, what I've learned over the years from the Word of God, and my interaction with the people of God that has made me the person that I am today. Because I'm the only one who knows what I was like before, and I know what I'm like now. So, Mississauga Church, or being here, has shaped my life enormously.
One of my fondest memories of the church when I came to it in 1976, there was an atmosphere of total involvement. That means that every member was asked to take part in the great task of spreading the gospel. And from child to young adult, women, men, everybody was involved. We even take the gospel from door to door, Bible studies, having crusades, and anything that would expose God to our neighbors, our co-workers, whoever was our project at that time.
Brother Sinclair had a great impact on me. He was my Sabbath school teacher. We used to worship in the loft, or what you call it, the balcony. And it was beyond just a Sabbath school teacher. I learned so much from him. He was a powerful influence on my life. I felt that he believed in us as young people, and that helped us to believe in ourselves, right? And that whole sense of church and community, he really brought it home for me in that it was beyond the church walls. We used to go to his home, like on a Saturday night, watch movies, have fun, have socials, etc. And not only back then, but even moving forward back into the years when we came to this establishment, his whole sense of leadership was still very strong. He led the whole thing in terms of building this place and renovating it. He was not renovating, but building it. He was a great part of that. He broke us up into teams, and he knew how to get us going, right, to make things happen. And I feel a lot of what I've learned and a lot of the skills that I use now in life, even in my career, I feel that I gained some of them from the center.
I remember getting up early Sabbath morning to go down and help some of these people who were not fortunate to have a meal. So you get down there and you kind of see them lying on the street, and you kind of touch them and say, "Good morning, are you there? Is somebody awake?" And you leave the food, the drink, the hot drink, whatever it is that we take, the sandwiches, and give it to them. And usually they're very grateful for it, and it makes us feel good, just helping people. And that's been our thing from day one, is to help, service, which is what I think we're commissioned to do, is to be of service to others.
When I first came, I had Brother Sinclair and Brother Ford that took me out of their wings. And so I remember when and this is funny, but it's a lesson that I've learned over years. I remember being my first time being on the church board, and Brother Sinclair and Brother Ford said, "Sit here in the middle." And this is a young person. I was a young person, and I just, I just wanted to talk. And Brother Ford said to me, "I will tell you when to speak. Don't speak until I tell you." And Brother Sinclair looked at me and said, "Yes, we will let you know when it's your turn." And I think I've learned to be politically correct because I had those two mentors in my life. And I wish young people today had that kind of support, that we had back in the day. Choirs, we didn't have all the facilities that we had now, but the choir practice would be at my house for a foundation on a Friday night or whatever. And so I wish that, the young folks would have the same experiences that I had growing up in this Mississauga church.
Well, what I can see over the past 50 years, we had a small crowd, but we were always together. And we always make plans for the future as our church should grow. And at times went out to the community to encourage them to come to our church to listen to God's word.
I think I would like to see that closeness that we once had. I'm not expecting, I know that things have changed, people have different lives and different things that they're doing in their lives, but I think that when we come to church as a church community, we need to find one common ground. And so I should be able to say, "Listen, I need you to help me with this. Can I depend on you to help me with this?" Knowing that I have your support and you can always depend on me. So I think that we have gotten to the place where, it's happy Sabbath and goodbye, whatever. I don't think that we have that family, and I think that if we found ourselves in that place where we come together, not just as a Sabbath thing, but just be a church family, I think that would be a good place to start. And I also believe that doing that, I think other people coming in will see the closeness, not a division, because right now you've got people over here, some over here. I would like to see that more.
Well, it has moved forward since my coming to Mississauga. Lakeshore, we had our own church, and it was wonderful. We, celebrated many, socials and Sabbath lunches, and it was, again, it seems the smaller the group, we seem to be more, cohesive and more family oriented at the time. So to where it is now, it has grown tremendously. I remember when they were looking to move from Lakeshore, it was, quite it was, we were kind of sad because we got to love that church because it was our own. So, we progressed from there to Mimosa. It was another rental before we moved to Mississauga, which is now Mississauga Seventh-day Adventist Church.
So what I'd like to see for this church is that the church reflects the community it is in. This is a multicultural community. We should find ways and means to reach the different people, because God says, He says, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people, which means all people groups. So we should make ourselves available to facilitate different people.
Because my vision was a vision of mission to take that gospel to the world. I am looking forward in whatever way that continues, because that to me is participating in the glorious task that God gives all of us to do. That is to tell the world Jesus is coming.